Morning, guys. Terrence. Sorry I didn't come with a video later yesterday. I was still waiting for a few details here and there to, well, I'll make another video on some other things. Let's talk Indiana Fever and WNBA basketball this morning. Of course, as we all know, the Fever picked up a true point guard in Odyssey Sims. Good choice, veteran, so with experience rather than my choice, which was Serena Sundell, and of course that was now and for the future. But given Sims has proven court time in the W, probably a better short term choice, but we're down to the final 12 13 games of the season, of the 44 game season at that, and the race for a playoff spot or a better playoff seed is on. That sounded like I read it off something, but anyway, ain't the point. The point is, I waited till later in the morning to bring not the latest breaking news, just giving you my thoughts. And I'm a lot of numbers. That's what I do, I guess. Numbers, right? No, the teams we got coming up. CC, should she, sit a few more games? Should this, cause them and her team as well to move up, the timeline for her return, and how far do they move it up? Do they move it up to tomorrow night's game? Honestly, I don't know. That's of course up to them. Fever organization and as well as her knowing her body and how she feels and what her medical staff thinks. Our medical team, that and the Indiana Fever medical team are doing entirely different things. I don't know that anybody gives no facts what the Indiana Fever's medical people are doing, other than ruling out our point guards, right? So, as it stands, the Fever are fifth in the playoff standings, and they're tied at 18 and 14 with the Aces. Of course, they hold the tie break, so so that gives them fifth. Aces are in sixth. Then the Fever's remaining. All right, and I'll put a few images up after the video of the three teams. Well, four if you include Indiana. Their upcoming schedules. None, of course, are gimmies, right? I don't know, but maybe Indy is the only one that plays the Sun. So I don't know that one of the other ones plays the Sky. So other than that, I don't know that any of them play one of the bottom three teams that are, the only ones, mathematically, out of the playoffs. Let's leave it at that, right? So, yeah, although every game matters, I believe, just me, Indiana should allow Clark some more time to rehab until their first of two games against the Minnesota Lynx on the 22nd. That's just my opinion, and of course, that will depend, I guess, on their thought process, because, I think the next three games coming up for them, should be pretty easy, see Wings tomorrow night, Mystics on Friday, and the Sun on Sunday. So, I mean, they by far have the weakest of the Aces, Dream, and there might have been one other team I was thinking. Of course, the downside to waiting until the Lynx game would be, yes, you would ideally, if she's going to come back, like to get her some court time with the other players, get her legs a little bit, log some game minutes. I'm not talking, so maybe 2 games of the 3 she plays. You know, anywhere from 15, 16 to, 24, 25 minutes. Nothing ridiculous, but, enough to, so if you, I don't know, say 18 to 24 the first game, and then, between 20 and 26 or so the second game before they start, their 2-game stretch with the Lynx. One thing I do get tired of hearing, I'm sure everybody does, right? Is, of the commentators during the games, and, they're, and they are on the, back end of a, 3-game stretch or a 4-game stretch, shit, they all do. They all do. All the teams play a 3-4-game stretch in 7 days, 5 days, 6 days, whatever it is. So anything other than, we played well, we won the game, that's obviously keeping it in a nutshell. But we played like shit, we lost. Anything other than that's a damn excuse. That's it. That's it. That's just keeping it real and as simple as it gets. Like I say, if you're a player, you want to be better, right? You know what your deficiencies are. Better than the analysts that are watching the game or anybody else. So if you're going to help your team individually, the players have to work on their own games, right? To fix those things, all while continuing to build on what they already do really well. So it's just my advice for what it's worth, right? Not that anybody asked or gives a shit. The Indiana Fever, I do know, even if they don't or haven't subscribed to my channel, it appears that, they've been taking like all my scouting reports, because I'm not that damn good where I can just guess every freaking game the hell they're going to do, and then miraculously they do and they win the game. It's just weird to me, but whatever. Of course, I didn't give them a game plan against the Mercury. At the Mercury, I said they were their ass whooped, and I didn't watch the game. Okay, I tried, but yeah. Sorry, on the seeding, right? You got 6, 7, 8, and then you got the Fever at 5, and you got 4, 3, and 2 ahead of them, right? You're talking 2 games right now between being 8th, right, and we can't count 9th out, and that'll be in one of the images also, because 9th is at 17 losses, and let's see, 7th and 8th are both at 16 losses, so that's 2 games. We lose 2 games, we're fighting for even a playoff spot. But we all know that if the Fever are going to make any kind of run, or get past the first round, etc., and I shouldn't say no, because we have won a few big games, but obviously the easier route would be to get a higher seed and play a lower seeded team. But it is kind of like I said, you take the top 8 or 9 teams in the league, and they're all damn good, and any of them can beat any of them on any given night. 6, 7, 8, you got the Aces, Valks, and then the Sparks is the 9th, right? They have the 17 losses. But let's see, who was it? Oh, in 4th, 3rd, you got the Mercury, and of course the Dream. And so we hold the tiebreak over the Dream if they happen to lose 2 more, and then actually it's 3 more. Sorry, 3 more on jumping up, and then 2 more. Now everything I put up, like I say, on the image here shortly, will be, I may actually put it up a few different times in the video, whatever. And of course you can see, one of these days I'll get around to, Venom Reacts does a really good job breaking down, film and whatnot. But, of course I'll do a little more, in detail and in depth. And, as well as, like I say, NBA, once they get past the G League thing, that's hard to watch for me. I don't know about anybody else. They may watch all of it. I don't. Love college basketball, men's, women's, NBA, of course, Major League Baseball, NFL. So, when those seasons come up, obviously, I'll be moving on to those. So this, this channel, my channel, isn't one, that's going to solely be focused on the WNBA, even though, it's what's happening right now. And it's coming down to the last, like say, 12, 13 games, depending on the teams. Some have already played 32 games, and some have, only played 31. So, anyway, the ones I'll post there, they're just the next, the upcoming 4, which is, why I had said, obviously with the fever one, is just, when do you bring CC back? And even if you do, there's no guarantees in life, much less basketball, that you're going to win. Even with your superstar, shit happens. Game plans go down the tube. The good news for the fever is, game plan goes out the window. She's a walking, talking, basketball playing game plan. So you just say, hey, just whatever, let's, and White focus on the defense, and of course the only other, right? So there's that, if she's going to come back. Of course they've updated and said, that they want to. I don't think any season at this point, right, and you're 18-14 and in 5th place in playoff standings at the moment, I don't think any season is worth wasting, or just kind of, I think they should do everything they can do to make it as far as they can, and do what they set out to do, which was win it all, and of course for any team really, you're just hoping, because there isn't any team that hasn't lost to decent team or terrible team by more than 20. You know what I mean? The Aces lost the game by like almost 50 or something. Lynx the same. So it doesn't matter. Like I say, top to bottom. Let me know in the comments, right? I guess one, if you guys think CC should come back. If so, then, what do you think as far as when? You think she should, play Dallas? The next 2, Dallas. Trying to think who the next one after that is. Let me look at my notes, see if I got all the Mystics on Friday. And then skip the Sun game, or, just because of what, I don't know, the deal is with the drama with Marbury. Anyway, all right. So I'll put them on her. Like I say, yes, drop a comment in the links, and yeah, start breaking down. And I hate to say breaking down film. Sometimes, yes, the casual fans, things like that, want to know exactly what the people at ESPN think they're talking about, yada yada. Those are the things I intend to try to present to you guys, rather than the obvious. How Lexi got 17 last game. She's a baller. She's played out. But you guys have a wonderful Monday.